Hey, but I didn't know it.
Why do you think so many bad boy artists went broke with Diddy or after?
Well, you got to remember, this is Diddy career really started like 91, 92. A lot of us wasn't even educated about the music business then. You know what I'm saying? And then you got to think, even the Locks, they was kids. You know what I'm saying? Mace was a kid. You look back at Biggie and Tupac right now, they died at 25.
Right.
They, to us now, they look like kids, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people got robbed because they didn't know the business. A lot of people with bad boys succumb to the dark side of the industry, right? The same stuff that Diddy's, they alleging now with the parties, the drugs, the sex.
Right.
A lot of people fell victim to that, right? Because that was their lifestyle. Now, when we was younger, we wasn't paying attention. But if you go and you look at the Big Papa video, the lead woman or the lead guy in that is a transgender. The industry grooms them to be open to it. Like if we go back to the Big Papa video, right? Why is the lead person out of all the bad bitches in New York City back then, even the women in the video, right? Why was the lead a transgender? Why was there, you remember the scene in the bathroom? Why was there a transgender pissing in the bathroom with the and the guy? You don't
Standing
remember?
up, right?
Yeah. You don't remember there's a woman in the bathroom with klepto, and I can't remember who the other person is. And they looking at the nigga ding ding, and why they standing at the urinal? Like, why is that in there way back then?
Got you. And I just pulled
Now
in the
look at the
scene.
girl go to the scene when Buster's talking to her at the bar, and Big walk up and move the nigga, and then, or when she say true, stop it right there and look at the knot in her throat.
Not the knot in her throat. Talking about this young lady?
That's her. Look at her, zoom in on the throat.
Women can't have a little, is that like
Her name is Shamika. She was from Queens and she got killed because a nigga was dating her, didn't know it was a man, and went to have sex with her and found out she was a man, and she's dead, and he's in jail.
So you know the story. So when you see that, are you alluding to they sprinkle it in there? They subconsciously make you comfortable with it?
Bro.
Because that is weird not to say weird as a derogatory, but it doesn't make sense why that scene would be in a hip hop video when hip hop was so much about masculinity and da-da-da-da.
And
so
it was supposed to be homophobic, right? So they say, right?
Right. But we weren't thinking about transgenders back then.
But they're there. Okay. What I believe is that the Tupac Biggie got so gangster and so big that the agenda that they was about to push on us, that they later pushed on us, it just got pushed back. They was getting ready to groom us right there. They was grooming us. We got a transgender in the Big Papa video in the bathroom and the lead woman. Not only in Big Papa and Warning, she's in the bed with Biggie, and then in the Flavor in Your Ear remix, she's dancing behind LL.
Right.
And Hype Williams is director, and she's the lead in all three of those videos, and he's the director of all three of those videos. And it's rumored that was his chick, or a nigga, or whatever.
Right. Okay. And we can leave people to maybe investigate more on this, but you're saying some stuff that does have me question, because I remember that scene, and I remember more so laughing at it because I thought it was like a joke as a youngster. Like, why is the lady she playing along? I didn't think that I didn't think about it now in hindsight.
Right, and see, and they was grooming with us. They was trying to groom us as a culture. Because right now, when you think of the LGBTQ community, who you think about?
I do think about us.
Black people.
Yeah, because they.
How often do you see a white guy running around
on an ad and they market it in the hood?
Or how about Chinese people?
Right, that's a good point.
Do you see that?
No.
No, right? How about the Indians? You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of Indian people out here. You know what I'm saying? You don't see them dressing and it's us.
Yeah, I can agree that they have made us appear as the poster childs for it.
From the Saucy Santanas all the way down. You know what I'm saying? Like, and this dude, he got a beard and nails. Like, and you know what I'm saying? Like, he's stuck in between, you know what I'm saying? And that's his thing. But for us as black people, it seems like the black women, they love it. When we've super feminine.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then they say it ain't no black men in the house. The black man, the black woman is the most unprotected, right? Mm-hmm. Well, y'all are encouraging the black men to be women.
Has been arrested after being indicted by a grand jury in New York. That's according to the New York Times, also according to TMZ.
What happens here is that the federal government started a case with him. Apparently the search warrant that had his houses in Miami and LA was pre-planned already. They knew they were going to do that. So they have a much bigger case. They're going to be talking to a lot of people about certain criminal acts that he might have committed and then go from there.
And what about the videos?
Well, they're going to sift through those videos. They're going to look at them and then see if there's any criminality on those videos, and then they'll go from there.
The house of cards might fall for Diddy right now.
It's not looking that great. Right now, I know that he has higher-powered attorneys, and with all these allegations that are coming out against him and against other people, a lot of people are starting to be very nervous about what's going on.
He was like, it's power, see? I can make a man, he said, if I can make a man suck I can make people do anything.
Combs abused, threatened, and coerced victims to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. As alleged in the indictment, to carry out this conduct, Sean Combs led and participated in a racketeering conspiracy that used the business empire he controlled to carry out criminal activity, including sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and the obstruction of justice. Let me say a little bit more about the charges. The indictment alleges that Combs abused and exploited women and other people for years, and in a variety of ways. As alleged, Combs used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended sexual performances with male commercial sex workers, some of whom he transported or caused to be transported over state lines. Combs allegedly planned and controlled the sex performances, which he called freak-offs, and he often electronically recorded them. The freak-offs sometimes lasted days at a time, involved multiple commercial sex workers, and often involved a variety of narcotics, such as ketamine, ecstasy, and GHB, which Combs distributed to the victims to keep them obedient and compliant. As alleged, when Combs didn't get his way, he was violent, and he subjected victims to physical, emotional, and verbal abuse so that they would participate in the freak-offs, and that Combs hit, kicked, threw objects at, and dragged victims, at times by their hair. On one occasion in March of 2016, that conduct was captured on video and later reported in the media. Specifically, Combs kicked, dragged, and threw a vase at a victim in a Los Angeles hotel when the victim was attempting to flee. As alleged, these assaults often resulted in injuries to the victims, which took days or weeks to heal. In addition to the violence, the indictment alleges that Combs threatened and coerced victims to get them to participate in the freak-offs. He used the embarrassing and sensitive recordings he made of the freak-offs as collateral against the victims. And the indictment alleges that he maintained control over the victims in several ways, including by giving them drugs, by giving and threatening to take away financial support or housing, by promising them career opportunities, by monitoring their whereabouts, and even by dictating their physical appearance. Because of all of this, the indictment alleges that the victims did not believe they could refuse Combs without risking their security or facing more abuse. The indictment also alleges other acts of violence undertaken by Combs and others, including violence against witnesses to his abuse, kidnapping, and arson. The indictment alleges that on more than one occasion, Combs carried or brandished firearms to intimidate and threaten victims and witnesses. Now, Combs did not do this all on his own. As I mentioned, Combs has been charged with RICO conspiracy. He used his business and employees of that business and other close associates to get his way. Those individuals allegedly included high-ranking supervisors in the business, personal assistants, security staff, and household staff. The indictment alleges that those individuals facilitated the freak-offs. They booked the hotel rooms and stocked them with the supplies, including drugs, baby oil, personal lubricant, extra linens, and lighting. When the hotel rooms got damaged, they helped clean it up. They arranged for victims and commercial sex workers to travel for the freak-offs, and they delivered large quantities of cash to Combs to pay for the commercial sex workers. The indictment also alleges that they helped Combs cover up his crimes. During the March 2016 incident at the LA hotel that I mentioned earlier, a member of the hotel security staff intervened, and Combs attempted to bribe the staff member with a stack of cash to make sure that what happened was kept quiet. And as the indictment alleges, in late 2023, after public allegations were made about Combs's crimes, he and others pressured witnesses and victims to stay silent, including by making phone calls to witnesses and victims and giving them a false narrative of what they had experienced. And as alleged, Combs used others to help conceal his abuse by monitoring and preventing victims from leaving a location in order to hide their injuries, or by locating and contacting a victim who had attempted to flee. As part of this investigation, in March of this year, special agents from HSI executed search warrants at Combs's residences in Miami and Los Angeles. They also executed a warrant for Combs's electronic devices. During those searches, agents seized evidence of the crimes charged in this indictment. They seized firearms and ammunition, including 3 defaced AR-15s and a large capacity drum magazine. They also seized evidence of the freak-offs, electronic devices that contain images and videos of the freak-offs with multiple victims. And they seized cases and cases of the kinds of personal lubricant and baby oil that Combs' staff allegedly used to stock hotel rooms for the freak-offs, more than 1,000 bottles altogether.